This is our first Midday Brew with Eneri. So, warm beverage today. Cheers. So this is ladies bi-monthly Zoom call to help build up women entrepreneurs. And what we plan is to highlight a woman-owned business on each call. And the purpose is to share information, challenges, and learn from each other so that we can confidently walk in the purpose that God has for us. So while you don't have to be an entrepreneur to join these calls, I hope that you're inspired by the women in this forum to perhaps take a leap of faith and follow your own dream. And that you're reminded that you have everything within you to succeed. And that there's always, as you can see, a tribe of women who are willing to help you in your journey. With that, please type on the chat your name, your occupation, and your childhood dream. So let's see. 3 things: name, occupation, and your childhood dream. Some of us has to, go back in that memory bank trying to figure out. I guess I should do it too, right? So, Eneri. Kristy, bridal hairstyle singer. Oh, that's right. I forget about that. Lenny's not sure about her childhood dream. All right, Christine. Okay, I know you're a relationship coach and acting. All right. Let's see. Jenny is a therapist, behavioral therapist, and always loved anything in fashion. All right. Obviously, Ramona, and now she has a talent agency, and to be around famous people and help them. All right.
Yes.
Lenny's an account associate for Wyckoff Insurance. Got it. All right. So let me see. We've got some interesting answers here, and as you can see, a very diverse group of women. It's pretty interesting. And you know what? At the end of the day, by this diversity, I'm sure we can all learn something from each other. We have a lot of experiences, things that we've gone through, things that we can share. Sometimes we think, oh, wait, I don't have anything to bring to the table. Yes, you do. When we start sharing stories, start sharing what we do, start sharing the things that we've, gone through, someone else can learn from what you have to say. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to today's guest speaker, which is Kristy Lahens. And mispronounce your name, feel free to correct me. She is the founder and lead stylist at Unbridled Beauty. So welcome, Kristy.
Hairstylist. That's what my small is. So I started off as a hairstylist. I mean, I was doing it since 21 years old. And so after, many years working in the salons, I kind of really started to specialize in bridal, and I really loved being around brides and going to the wedding day and just being there, helping them get ready, and just loved that energy and getting out of the salon too, getting out of the 4 walls all the time. Was something that I really enjoyed. And after I had my first son, Gavin, he was about 15 months. And I decided, I was like, you know what? I think I want to just do bridal, and I don't want to do the salon thing anymore. And my husband was 100% on board, which I was like so grateful for, because I mean, he actually was like pushing me to do it, more than I was pushing myself, because I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, how could I leave the salon? How could I, my bosses, at the time, they were also personal friends. And, I was kind of wrestling with, oh my God, how do I tell them? They've been so good to me. And, they were even letting me come back part-time after I had the baby. And so I was just very conflicted at the time, but I did feel like I was called to work for myself and have the flexibility to be more at home with my baby. Now I have 2, but at the time it was just the 1. And so, yeah, my husband, every day I would come home and he'd be like, did you talk to them yet? Did you talk to them yet? And I'm like, no, not yet. But eventually I had that hard conversation with them. And at first it was a little rough and they were a little bit like, okay, what are we going to do now? But they were ultimately very, understanding. And to this day, we still have a good relationship, which, I'm very thankful for. And so I decided to just kind of like, okay, here I go. I'm going to start fresh. And I really kind of started from scratch. I had nowhere to go because you, as a stylist, you have a rolling clientele of people who are constantly coming back for haircuts and color. And that's kind of like okay, they're going to keep coming back for that. When you're a bride, that's it. It's a one-time event and you're done. So, but the great thing about that is, you do one wedding party and she's got, all these bridesmaids. And so, okay, each one of them has the potential for being your next bride. So that's kind of how, I started doing it. Instagram was really, really helpful too in my startup when I just kind of started posting some pictures and kind of said, okay, I'm going to see what happens. Hopefully I get somebody. And, my very first wedding that I booked on my own was a woman, her name was Michelle. It was her second wedding, similar to yours, Eneri. She was remarrying, and she was and she already had her daughter who was older, so she was like her junior bridesmaid. And I got to go to her house and learn about her story and everything and how they met. And it was just like a great first experience for me doing a wedding on my own without having the salon involved. And then from there, she referred me to someone else, and it just kind of sort of very gradually grew from there. Like my first year, I think I only did, maybe 5 weddings, but I think about it now and I'm like, when I first did it, I didn't even think, I was like, how am I even going to get one? How do I even do this without the help of the salon, having their exposure? But God provides, and it's really amazing. Being an entrepreneur gives you such a different perspective on God's provision, because you are now kind of, you're always under his provision, right? Whether it's a job or you're in, entrepreneurial, setting, but, you feel it a lot more because you're like, okay, this is it. Like, it's up to me to do the hustle and kind of get my schedule going, and it's up to me to get those clients and stuff. But it really has taught me to rely on God so much more, in those moments of like, oh my gosh, where is this going to come from? And how is this going to happen? And it's built my faith so much more in that sense. Like, I really have a strong sense of like peace when it comes to, okay, well, yeah, like this last month was kind of dry, but God's going to provide, and that's okay. And I really, it's funny because my husband now gets a little bit like nervous, like, hey, like, what's it looking like this year? And I'm like, it's all good, bro. It's going to happen. You'll see. So, but it's definitely, it's been interesting. It's been I'm still learning so much, but yeah, it's well worth it. I think being, your own boss, if you can do it, if that's something that is a dream of yours, because of the flexibility, and also just, you get to kind of freely choose your own, people that you want to work with, and the way that you want to do it. So it's really been a huge blessing in my life.
That's great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can relate. Recently starting my own business, you have to hustle.
Yeah.
And definitely lean on God, right? He's our provider. I think pretty much most of us here are believers, but just when he deposits that in you to do it and go forward. And thankfully you had your husband to also provide that support, which was crucial. But for those of us who are not, well, I'm married now, but for some of you who may not be married yet, having that support, there are going to be people who are going to support you. Yeah, there's going to be naysayers.
Oh yeah.
That there's going to be plenty of naysayers. People tell you, oh, are you sure? and they're going to be well-meaning and well-intentioned,
Sure.
you know, naysayers, right? People who are just, they love you, but they're afraid for you.
Exactly.
And so they're like, oh, well, are you sure? Maybe you shouldn't do this. And they'll tell you all the negatives as to why.
Yeah.
But when you know that God has deposited something in you, right? To go and to do, right? We just need to take the first step and say, okay, you know what? You'll know when it's just so in you that you just gotta take a step. And even if it's the wrong step, just take a step.
Yeah.
Right. Because he'll pivot you to where you need to go.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because I didn't mean to for this to be like a Christian thing, but it is. That's who we are, right? And it just flows out of us, whether we want it to or not. But I wanted to. We got to practice what we preach, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Kristy?
You're looking to grow your business?
Yeah. So initially, when I was talking to Eneri about this call, I was telling her this. I feel like at this point, I'm at a point where I know that this is like I can't go any further than I've gone right now, me by myself. I have 2 other girls that work with me. So they're stylists that I take with me to weddings, and they'll help me with like larger groups. Or if I'm already busy that day, I'll send them to do, a wedding that I'm already like on the same day that I'm already doing a wedding. And that's been great. But now I'm starting to see that happen more and more, where I'm getting like the double requests for the same dates. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little bit more complicated now. It's not just like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm like, in the beginning, it was always like super easy because it was like, yeah, I'm available. I'm wide open, but now it's like, okay, like, hold on a minute. I have to check everything and I have to make sure I'm not, because my worst nightmare is like, oh my gosh, I double booked somebody. And like, now it's their wedding day. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, so now I'm having to definitely expand on stylists, but also catching up with like the administrative stuff, which I'm not good at. I'm good at it when I'm doing it. I know how to be professional, and I know how to, I have all these templates set up and everything, but it's starting to become a little bit tricky for me to do that, and to do social media, and to do training the stylists, and to like be the, the main person who's doing all this. So now I'm definitely at a point where I'm just trying to figure out what's my next step in terms of investment in my business. Because I know it's going to feel like a little bit at first, because I don't know how much I really should be investing in, let's say someone to do my admin work or someone to do my social media. So that's where I'm at right now. Total transparency. Like I'm, still like learning so much. So I'm kind of looking for that, next step. I wanted to go to, I don't know if you ladies all go to, I know you, Ramona, Lynette, and Christine, and obviously Eneri, you guys all go to church live, but they had a business transform last night, and I wasn't able to go because I was at women's transform. Yeah. But they, I would have liked to go because I really wanted to kind of maybe ask some questions about that. So if you ladies have any thoughts on that, as far as, what you do in your businesses.
Well, how old is your business? How long have you been in business?
I have been in business since 2015.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's kind of been like, like a steady sort of slow, growth. 2020 was obviously like a halt. And then 2021 was a little bit crazy because of all the overflow of like the rescheduled weddings and things like that. So, and then now it's kind of like leveled off, and and here's the thing is like, I want to be careful how I word this, because, I don't want to sound like, okay. So because I'm so reliant on, oh, God is just going to provide, and he does. Like, I I'll just get emails out of nowhere and just like, they just come in and it's great. And I'm like, oh, look at that. And I didn't even post anything this week. Like, maybe I don't need that social media person, whatever. God's got it. It's fine. But then I don't want to get lazy in that sense of like building my business and feeding it, because I know I'm not serving it to the full potential. I'm kind of just like, and it's not like out of pure laziness. It's more of like, okay, this is something I'm not very good at. So I kind of like, kind of avoid that area. I hone in more on like, okay, I want to train my girls. I want to, hone my skill and get really good at what I'm doing with my hands. And I feel like at this point I've gotten really good at that. And that's, what ultimately goes into, the work that I do, but there's all this behind the scenes stuff that needs to get taken care of too. So,
right. So do you have a list of like what your needs are? Like what you just said. I think if you're coming up with something like that, that's going to help you see it clearer.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but that helps me because, sometimes you just keep ruminating. I'm like, am I thinking about the same thought, or am I thinking I got a lot of thoughts about what I need, what my business needs, or do I have a lot of needs and I'm just thinking of them? So for me, keeping a list of needs, just helps me kind of know, okay, this is where we need to grow in, or this is where, or shrink in, whatever the situation is. It helps. And then seeking those that can help you, that have knowledge in that,
right.
To help you plan it out.
Right.
Because it sounds like you need help from what I'm hearing, which is a very common thing. I could say I need the same thing, is somebody to post.
Yeah. I'm going to write.
Is that really what you need to be doing?
Yeah.
Yourself. Is that something you have to do? I mean, you want it to be authentic, but is it something you have to do? Can somebody else do it for you?
Right. Yeah. And I've been looking into, what that costs. And, I did it a little while, like maybe a few years ago, where I had one of the girls from church actually was doing it for me for a little while, and which was fine. I just felt like I wasn't seeing as much growth, I guess, as I was like expecting or hoping for. And then I was also kind of like, okay, well, but I'm also paying for this. And then my husband was like, well, maybe like we just, for the winter months, since you're not as busy with the weddings during the winter months, maybe you can, just take it on yourself and then like see what happens in the spring. Maybe you can hire her back. But then she kind of, started doing other things. And so I just kind of dropped it all together and was like, I can handle it. It's fine. But I can't handle it, girls.
There's only one of you, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot, right? When we think, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Or when we hire somebody or give that task to somebody else to drive, right? I think we need to clarify those expectations, because sometimes we may want that person to just, I just need somebody to schedule. But then in your mind, you're thinking, starting scheduling and then start doing this and then start doing that. But you didn't communicate that to that person, right? So having those, I'm not saying you did or you didn't, but having that conversation up front with someone who you can see to potentially help you grow your business. Right. They may or may not want to do that, right? So you need to feel them out. I know Ramona and I were talking yesterday about, perhaps getting somebody on board just as a trial, just, for a few months, right? To see if they got what it takes to help you grow your business, right? Because they may be someone who just wants to basic, admin stuff, but there may be someone else who wants to grow, who also may want to be a hairstylist, depending on whatever, business is that you're trying to start, right? So I found that setting that's one of the things I learned from corporate, right? Just setting those expectations up front and knowing, I think Ramona, hitting the nail with, make a list, that's for anything that we do. For me, what has been helpful, being a former admin myself, make a list of the things that you want. What is it that you need and what are, so there's some nice to haves, but what are your needs and what are your like, maybe someday, right? So that then you can start tackling those. Okay, what are your needs right now? And then hopefully with this type of forum, it'll help you, as Ramona was saying, to seek those who have those talents that you're needing, right? So that we can help each other out and provide tips. Or, I know there's some apps out there, which I didn't even know about when I was starting my own business. To create a logo, I thought I had to just, get this graphic, find a graphic artist and pay them hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I didn't have to start my business to begin with. Right. And then in chatting with my chiropractor, actually my physical therapist, he was like, I found through this service, I found someone who did my graphic for, a few $100s, you know what I mean? So there are other resources available. And by having those conversations, I'm like, wait, I was able to get a graphic artist out of a pool of graphic artists, right? They belong
to. Heard about that.
Yeah, I think the one I chose, I think was 99 Designs that I went with that service. Who for $250, I was able to. They created a logo for me, and not only that, but several templates so I can use them in different ways. Right, which it's for someone who's starting out, and not even for those of us who's been doing it for a while. Let's face it, you don't want to spend thousands of dollars in graphics, social media, whatever it may be. There are so many tools at our fingertips, and it's having these conversations that you're able to be like, oh, wait, she talked about this. Well, how did you do it? And the goal is to help each other do that. Make sure that we're able to grow, and that that you don't have to do it alone. I think a lot of times we find a lot of frustration, right? Because it can be a lot. It doing a business where even juggling our life. It's a lot, right? And so it's one more thing. So I'm like, so how do we minimize our pain and our angst by stepping back, write a plan? The word says, write a plan and make it plain, right? Because then that helps you get it on paper, first of all, and then start planning towards what steps to take. Right. And so you don't have to boil the ocean. You don't have to do it all at once, but little by little, you'll see things start falling into place. So that's my 2 cents on that. Anybody else got any words of wisdom or just insight, something that worked for you, something that our conversations has triggered in you? Just thoughts?
I'm just going to add. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marie.
Go ahead, Marie.
No, so I was asking Kristy, because I'm an administrative assistant. So I'm good on like admin stuff. When it comes to social media, like Vin and I just launched a online coffee business. So I've been doing the social media. I'm not a professional, or I just started learning how to do reels. So I'm still trying to figure out how much to post and what to post and stuff like that. But if you need help with admin stuff, like scheduling or reaching out to clients, or if somebody reaches out to you, asking when you're available, or if you're available certain dates for, their wedding, I can help in that. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. For sure. If you want to text me, or in the chat, if you want to and
yep.
Awesome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
See, connections. It's all about connections.
It is. I mean, even in my own industry, I mean, one of the best ways that I've gotten business is through networking with other people in the industry. I mean, I photographers and makeup artists have been huge for me. I mean, some of these makeup artists, they've been so good, with their referrals, and this one woman in particular, she has this who I always tell her, I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up, because she's so, she's really just such a calm person, so cool, collected. She has 2 boys like I do, but they're adults. And, sorry. Okay. But they're grown up now. And so she's done it all. She has like, she's been where I am now. And, so she's been kind of like really good to talk to through the process and stuff. And, but she, has referred me so much. I told my husband, I'm like, I'm getting this woman something for Christmas this year, because she's responsible for like half my salary this year.
That's awesome.
But yeah, networking is so good. And, another thing that, I've always thought this, but I feel like it's so, in my industry, I feel like at least it's so important to know that, there's room enough for everyone to have business. Like, you don't have to be, in competition with other people. Even if they do exactly the same thing that you do. At least, I mean, like, the bridal industry is saturated. We have so many stylists, so many makeup artists, so many photographers, especially now on social media. Like, you're exposed to see them all. So you're just like scrolling through, and it's just person after like all these different people who have these amazing talents and businesses, and you're just like, wow. And I put myself in a bride's shoes, and I'm like, how do I choose? Like, there's so many of, different people. But what I've learned is, like there's so that, the social media as a platform alone, I mean, it exposes you to so many people. And there's like, even in this, like you think about how many people live in New Jersey, or even in your own little town. Like, I looked up the population in my town the other day, and it's like 17,000 people. I'm like, really? Because I feel like it's 80, but no, 17,000. So I'm like, wow, like, it just blows my mind how many people are actually out there. And like, and then it's just, you look through, like I said, all these accounts and everything, and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's so many of these stylists, and, like, how do I compare? But it's really, there's enough out there for everyone. Like, we can all lift each other up and still, have enough for ourselves. And, cause I do that a lot, where I'll like, if I'm busy and I know that, let's say one of my stylists is not going to be able to make it, or she's not ready for it yet. I'll go ahead and refer to another business that I've looked at, that I've, maybe chatted with a little bit on Instagram, and be like, hey, like, this girl's work is beautiful. I'm sure you'd be so happy with her, like, and kind of direct them to a different, and then they return the favor. Sometimes they'll, head people my way, and which is really nice. So yeah.
Agreed. Anyone else? Oh, Ramona, you were going to interject.
Well, I guess I was going to say 2 things. I was just, I was going back to the very first thing I was going to say was just about being prepared, that God does tell us prepare ourselves, right? Prepare to do that. So that's great, and as well as in trusting him in our footsteps, right? And that he's going to provide a way, but it also is on us to prepare and get ourselves ready. The other thing I was going to say about the networking too, it is great to network, because it's, and also just valuing your relationships in that, right? I think that that's what usually stands out. And when I'll get a good referral or something, comes from it, is just having a genuineness in the conversations you have. You know what I mean? I think that that's really great. And I think even taking yourself out of your necessarily your industry, because it just opens your doors for new opportunities. Like, I think that's really important to be able to do. I mean, it's also balancing your time, right? So it's all these great ideas, but you also have to like, okay, now how am I going to do, what's my time frame here? But yeah.
No, that's really good. I love that about networking outside of your industry, because it's true. You never know like who you could be talking to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
Anyone else?
I just want to say this is really good. I'm new to this. I'm starting up, and I'm getting a lot of little nuggets here. So thank you, guys.
That's the goal. That's the goal. It's like as we start sharing, it just the memory file, the files in the memory start opening up. Like, oh wait, what about this? And oh yes, I've done that. And and it's networking, right?
Yeah.
And it's growing together and just sharing what we have, right? And we have more to share than we think we do.
Mm-hmm.
To help someone else, and that's what this group is all about for me. It's like, you know what, I knew, starting recently, it's like, and I've been, like I said, I was in corporate for like 30 plus years, so there's a lot that I gained and learned there that I can bring, but even with that, when it comes to starting your own business, there's just nuances of it that I'm like, oh wait, I need to know this, oh wait, I need to to know that, and it's easy to get overwhelmed very quickly, but when you're talking, I found when I was talking to other women like-minded who wanted to grow, and or I heard from people who said, oh, that's great for you, I wish I could have done that, and I'm like, well, no, but you can, like, you still can. It's like they just gave up on their dreams, right? And I'm like, it's never too late. It's never too late to follow your dreams. All right, maybe if you want to be a singer and you haven't sang, and you may need a little help there, but you can sing, at church. You can sing in your shower.
We got spots available.
Right? But I mean, I say all that to say, if it's in you and you hone your skills, right? I'm trying to think of the verse that says, when we do our part, God will do his. But we can't just wait around and like, oh yeah, God's going to bring it. But you're like, do, and you're not doing anything about it. No, we need to take the step. We need to have the courage and the faith, right, to move forward. And I think this type of forum for me was like, I just kept getting in my spirit to start this. And I was like, wait, what? But I'm like, what? Really? I'm like, nah, that's in my head. I'm like, no, it's not. It's birthed out of a need. It's birthed out of a desire that God has given me to help women, right? And for us to help each other. So I hope that this is, as impactful to you, and like Christine said, I mean, those little nuggets that you can, even if it's just one nugget that you get out of this call, I hope that it's worth it for you.
And there, I just wanted to say that it's also like about like timing, because I've always wanted to have like a coffee business, like a coffee shop, and then I started working part-time as a barista, and then it's kind of like God was showing me like this is what it entails, and like not that I couldn't do it, but it's like it just opened my eyes to like, okay, this could be a long-term goal, like maybe do like a family thing, and maybe start somewhere small. So then like the idea of like an online coffee business or coffee truck was always in my mind. I've always been praying for that, and I feel like God's timing is just perfect. He just puts the pieces in the puzzle, like literally. So then like, after COVID and all that, like, I met Vin and this and that. And like, he knew about my passion for coffee, and he's not really a coffee drinker, but he loves like the science behind it. Okay. So, he was literally like, all right, let's do this. Like, let's find out. He's more on like the salesman, like the, where I'm more shy sometimes, like, oh, I don't want to go to that person to say if they want to buy coffee. I'm more like admin and like behind the scenes and, stuff like that. So we kind of just work well together, and it's literally like, we're not like, oh my gosh, everybody knows us, but like, it was just the right timing. Like, it was like, God was just preparing me, like, to bring somebody. Cause at first I'm like, should I do it with my cousin? But it just never felt right. Like, I feel like the Holy Spirit nudges you when it's like, yes or no. So I would just be still, I would just be like, Lord, I know people are doing like coffee businesses, but I'm going to be still until I feel that nudge that I'm ready or whatever, And with Vin, like, he really was like that push. And like, it's crazy to even think about now, like how we're doing this, and, like, and it's a lot of work, it is like social media and just getting people to like know us and stuff like that. But I feel like pop-up shops are going to be good for us. Yep. So we're doing one in December. So I think that's going to be like, we're going to network and, you know, meet different people and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just God's timing. Like when God is just, okay, now like, Eneri, now I'm going to give you this, like he's going to nudge your spirit, you know, even if you're like scared and like you were in corporate for like 30 plus years. So that's really scary because that's like, what is this now? I'm going to be like my own boss, you know, like, but God, like he's just there, you know, like he's going to have our backs regardless. It's all about patience and not like Kristy was saying, not about like comparison or like, oh man, they have this now, or look, they have more followers on Instagram. Like it's all about, hey, this is our race, and you know, oh my God, like make this coffee business be like for your glory. That I don't know, maybe we'll put a verse on the bags that people will be curious to, I don't know, bring people to you some way, somehow, you know. So it's not comparing each other and just like we're all, you know, there's enough room for everyone. So
agreed. That was great.
I really love this. Thanks for doing this, Eneri.
Thank you. Oh, no problem.
I just want to share with you, Marie. So I know you were saying that, and we're having the same struggle of like, you know, kind of navigating social media and trying to kind of get a handle on that. What has been really helpful for me, while I'm still doing it on my own, is do you know about Planoly?
No.
Okay, so Planoly is an app where you can actually like put your posts, and you can make reels on there. You can make like, you know, carousel posts and stuff like that too. And you can make stories ahead of time. And then you can kind of just like put all that together. You can make little like hashtag templates for yourself, you know, because you don't want to sit there and like come up with like original time. And then you can kind of like set that all up on like, they have it like set up on like a calendar, and then you can actually like set up the dates that you want them posted, the time that you want them posted, and it'll auto post for you.
Oh, that's great.
So my problem is that, you know, I have 2 little children and I have like all these activities that I have to get them to. And then like me is just like, I need help with my own time management of like, when am I going to sit and do my Planoly calendar?
Yeah.
But very helpful app if you are more organized than I am.
Yes, I love being organized. So I feel like that's what's been a struggle. It's like, you know, having to think in the moment, like, oh my gosh, I have to send this, or today is Wednesday. Let me, you know, and sometimes it feels like overwhelming because Vin is not really social media. He doesn't have Instagram. So I'm the one that's like, you know, learning how to do reels and this and that. But it would be helpful to like, you know what, this day, it's a month before the event, you know, send it like that. It's just already like done. So that's awesome.
See if there's a way I can like share this app with you.
Yeah, I was just trying to find it. Is it Planoly or spell it?
Let me I'm copying it from my right now.
Put it in the chat, please.
Yeah, to everyone.
Thank you. See, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
And I use BookMe for those people who actually, I mean, that may not work for you, Kristy, but just in case, let me just, I'll put my BookMe site so you guys can see what it looks like and what you can do in it. So.
Okay. Yeah, download it now.
Sorry, I had to mute you ladies. I know I missed a good chunk of the conversation, but you'll give me a rundown.
No problem. Planoly. Okay.
Cool. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Social media planner. Okay. That's awesome.
And Eneri, what's BookMe for you? Like, how do you use that in your business?
So BookMe, that's
to schedule?
It's a schedule.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm using it to schedule people. So, you know, well, if they find me, they can book a 30-minute session, and I can block out times on my calendar so it reads your calendar. And like, let's say if I want to just have it like every other hour, right? Or for 30 minutes, I can book that. I mean, I could block that in the back end so that when people go in, they only see the free time.
Okay.
Right? And I also provide, you know, have my services in there as well. So you can put your products and services depending on what it is that you're selling or that you're you're providing. And so I put like, coaching and then for an amount. And then, but you can also set up discounts so that people, when they go in, they can put in that discount and then they'll get the new pricing when they're booking themselves for a session.
Okay.
So, but I know it's it can be used for different types of products and services. So yeah. So I actually have a site through the John Maxwell, which I didn't realize. Well, I did kind of that it was kind of free for the year. And then I had got my own domain, and I'm like, oh wait, so how am I going to attach these? And then one of the people from John Maxwell, as I'm networking with them, it's like, oh well, I use Book Me and I use it as a site, so not just a book, but like as a landing page. I'm like, oh wait, I wish I would have known about this. I would have saved myself some money.
Yeah, websites are expensive. Yeah.
yeah, and this one was very reasonable. So yeah, so I'm more leaning towards this piece. And now I have to combine all of them now into one, trying to make it easier for people.
Yeah, that's our next steps, making our website it's up and you can order from there, pick up a delivery, but just learning more on making it look, I don't know, better, more professional, more, but like I said, baby steps. At least we have a site, you can go on, you can order, you can email us. So, I don't try to be too hard on myself, because it's this is our first time. I can't expect to be, Starbucks and it's so easy ordering from your phone, you know what I mean? So but at least you can order and stuff like that. And, but yeah, that's another thing that I've been working on too, adding pages to the main page. That was one thing that I'm oh my gosh. Then you have to get the link to they can take them to Square, so they're able to pay for the coffee. But it's also fun learning when it's your business.
Yeah, and so that's the key thing there. Is just do it, right? Just do it a little bit at a time. Because I started getting analysis paralysis, right? You wanted everything to be perfect and everything. So then I wasn't moving forward. And I'm like, wait a minute, if God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it, right? Yeah. You do your part, you get the learning that you need. You have to invest time in yourself, right? To figure some things out. But again, in networking and talking to each other, look, we got another app, right? So things that are going to help us move along and get better. But you don't have to be perfect to launch, little bit at a time, just do it. And as you're doing it, you're gaining experience and you're gaining tips and you're, going through these challenges, right? But you can get answers to those things and you're not alone.
Yeah. Amen.
Good stuff. Thank you, ladies. This has been amazing. I'm sorry some people couldn't join for technical issues, but we'll try to figure out how to make it easier for those going forward. And yeah, anybody else has anything else before we write? Yes, go ahead, Lenny.
I didn't get to talk, but I'll make it quick since we only have 6 minutes. But I don't have my own business. I'm kind of, exploring that. I've been doing it for a while, but I think one of the most recent interests that has come across my table has been becoming an NSA. And an NSA is a notary signing agent. So a notary, right? So you have to become a notary in order to become a notary signing agent. So I would become a mobile notary public. But the notary signing agent is specific to dealing with only mortgage loans. So being in the insurance, field that I'm already in, it makes sense for me, right? But I have to start first because I already did a little bit of research. I have to get my license as a notary public first before I can jump into and get my additional certifications or whatever else is needed for the NSA. So that's been my interest lately. I just have to find out the how, application, fees and all that stuff to get myself started. And then the hard part starts, right? How to market myself and how to put it out there, as we all are starting our little new businesses on the side, through social media, within the church, our friends and stuff like that. So that's going to be a whole nother ball game. But if you have any feedback or ideas, I'm always open.
My mom's actually a notary. I mean, she's a paralegal, but she's been a notary for years, and it's definitely a good thing to have because, I mean, you know, you can easily get things notarized. I'm always like, here you go, Mom. But
You know what's funny? I didn't even know that this was a thing that you can do mobile. You know, before you used to have to go into somebody's office.
right.
But and how that came up is when I recently sold my home, and since my home was in Texas, I'm here. I'm not going to fly over there to sign papers since everything is virtual now. They had my mortgage company, I guess, had someone they work with, you know, in New Jersey, and he came to my house. I signed the papers, and that was it. I was like,
Wow.
do this like mobily?
And that was his own business?
Yeah, he's a mobile notary. But see, and I didn't know even further that you can just be a mobile notary for mortgage loans.
That's really awesome. Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm sure that you're diving in deeper when you're just like a general notary, because you have to kind of know all the rules and regulations of signing different documents.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I don't feel that. I rather specific with mortgage loans because I understand it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, so that's been my interest lately. And I want to move forward with that, you know, as far as applying and getting my license. So, and then kind of making it my side thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So if you can provide like I'll put my email in the chat. If you can provide like any links, like, you know, how to become a notary or anything that I may need to know, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I don't know how she did it because I just know she is a notary, but I don't know how she did it. But I can just ask her and then I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Annie, I don't know if you know Pam from our Connect team. She also notarizes documents. She's a real estate agent. And she
I didn't know.
Yeah, so she also, I'm pretty sure, she notarizes like documents, stuff like that. So if you want to, you know, see her Sunday and maybe ask her.
Talk to Pam.
Pam, yeah.
She doesn't know Pam.
She's amazing. She's very helpful.
Yeah.
Pam, the grandmother. Is she the grandmother? Little Pam? Or no?
No, Pam Mejia. She's the other Pam.
Wait, which Pam?
Pam, here, I'll put it in there.
We're like, we got a lot of women.
Yeah.
Or I'll send you her Instagram, Lenny.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, no problem.
I'll send you her Instagram.
What's her last name?
Mejia.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Mejia. Maybe I don't know that Pam.
You've definitely probably seen her.
Okay. Maybe I didn't know her name was Pam. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, it's 12:59. I hope that you guys truly, truly enjoy this call. Thank you. I am blown away just at the interaction and the help, the network. It's all about networking, ladies.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And helping each other out. And I hope that you're encouraged, that you get some nuggets out of here that you can just go forward with, and that you're encouraged to dream again.
Yeah.
You know, we can do this, ladies. We can do this.
Yes, we can.
You know, God's before us. We can get things done.
Amen.
Amen. Looking forward to the next one.
Yes, same here. You guys have a blessed rest of your afternoon. And I will see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.